dark secrets, twisted minds, unsolved mysteries. The world is full of stories that send shivers down your spine, cases that leave behind more questions than answers, and crimes so chilling they defy belief. Here, we dive deep into the shadows, uncovering the shocking details, the hidden motives, and the search for justice. From the infamous to the forgotten, we leave no stone unturned. Welcome to Shadowed Mysteries, where the truth is darker than fiction. Are you ready to enter the mind of a killer? Subscribe now and step into the world of true crime like never before. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Shadowed Mysteries, where we explore some of history's most chilling mysteries. Today, we're diving into one of the most bizarre and unsettling true crime cases ever recorded. The story of Vlado Taneski, a journalist who became the prime suspect in a series of brutal murders he himself reported on. This case isn't just about crime, it's about obsession, manipulation, and the blurred line between truth and fiction. It's a tale that will leave you questioning how far someone might go to chase fame or fulfill darker desires. So grab your coffee, turn off the lights, and let's uncover the twisted, haunting story of Vlado Taneski. To truly understand this case, we need to step back in time to Macedonia in the early 2000s, a country still grappling with political instability and economic challenges following the breakup of Yugoslavia. Crime rates were high, and the media played a pivotal role in shaping public perception. Journalists weren't just observers, they were storytellers who could sway opinions, stir emotions, and even influence investigations. In this environment emerged Vlado Taneski, a seasoned crime reporter known for his vivid and detailed coverage of violent crimes. His articles were gripping, often painting graphic pictures of the victim's final moments and the killer's motives. Taneski had a knack for storytelling, but his work also raised eyebrows. Some colleagues noted his almost obsessive fascination with brutality, as if he were drawn to the darkest corners of human nature. Little did anyone know, his connection to these crimes would soon become deeply personal and deeply disturbing. The first victim was Ljubica Borsosova, a 70-year-old woman whose mutilated body was discovered in February 2008. She had been abducted, tortured, and killed in a manner so brutal that it shocked even seasoned investigators. What made her murder particularly horrifying was the removal of her tongue, a symbolic act that suggested the killer wanted to silence her forever. When news of the crime broke, Vlado Taneski wasted no time covering it. His article, published shortly after the discovery, provided a chillingly detailed account of the murder. He described the killer's methods with alarming precision, speculating on possible motives, and even delving into the psychology of such a violent act. At the time, no one questioned how Taneski knew so much about the crime. After all, he was a respected journalist with a reputation for thorough research. But looking back, his words seem eerily prophetic, as if he were writing not just about the crime, but from an insider's perspective. Just months later, another elderly woman, Zivka Tanseva, was found dead under similar circumstances. Like Ljubica, she had been brutally tortured, dismembered, and mutilated, with her tongue removed. The similarities between the two murders sent shockwaves through Macedonia, fueling fears of a serial killer targeting vulnerable women. Once again, Vlado Taneski covered the story extensively. His articles painted a vivid picture of the killer's mindset, describing the methodical precision of the attacks and the apparent hatred toward the victims. What stood out, however, was the level of detail in his reporting. Taneski mentioned specific aspects of the crime scene, details that hadn't been released to the public. For example, he described the exact placement of the victims' bodies and the condition of their wounds. To readers, it seemed like expert analysis. To investigators, it began to feel like something more sinister. Very few people noticed at the time, but Taneski's language hinted at a disturbing familiarity with the crimes. He wrote about the ritualistic nature of the killings, suggesting a deeper understanding of the killer's motives. Was he simply an astute observer, or was he revealing secrets only the perpetrator would know? The question lingered, unanswered, for now. In June 2008, a third victim, Mitra Simjanovska, was discovered. Like the others, she was elderly, vulnerable, and brutally murdered. Her body bore the same hallmarks of extreme violence: dismemberment, mutilation, and the removal of her tongue. By now, panic gripped Macedonia as residents feared a serial killer was stalking their streets. Elderly women avoided going out alone, and families took extra precautions to protect their loved ones. Vlado Taneski once again covered the story, providing yet another detailed and graphic account. His articles read like crime novels, filled with speculation about the killer's identity and motives. But this time, investigators paid closer attention. They noticed that Taneski's descriptions matched the evidence almost perfectly. It was as if he had insider knowledge, or worse, direct involvement. Questions began to arise. How did Taneski know so much? Was his access to information legitimate, or was he hiding something far darker? As suspicions mounted, police turned their focus to Vlado Taneski. They reviewed his articles, noting the uncanny accuracy of his details. Then came the breakthrough. DNA evidence collected from the crime scenes linked Taneski to two of the murders. Specifically, traces of his DNA were found on items belonging to the victims, including clothing and personal belongings. Confronted with the evidence, Taneski denied any wrongdoing. He claimed his sources were impeccable, insisting that his insights came from interviews with law enforcement officials and forensic experts. But the DNA results told a different story. Investigators realized they were dealing with someone who had crossed the ultimate boundary, from observer to participant. What made this case even more shocking was the duality of Taneski's life. On the surface, he was a respected journalist, a family man, and a pillar of the community. But beneath that facade lay a dark secret, one that may have driven him to commit unspeakable acts. As the investigation unfolded, questions arose about Taneski's motivations. Was he seeking fame, using his profession as a cover to stage elaborate crimes? Or was he driven by darker impulses, indulging in fantasies of power and control? On June 13, 2008, Vlado Taneski was arrested and charged with the murders of Lubisa Borsosova and Zivka Tancheva. The arrest sent shockwaves through Macedonia as people struggled to reconcile the image of the mild-mannered journalist with that of a cold-blooded killer. During interrogations, Taneski admitted to knowing intimate details about the crimes, but stopped short of confessing outright. He maintained his innocence, claiming he was being framed. However, the weight of the evidence and the mounting pressure proved too much to bear. Tragically, before he could face trial, Taneski took his own life in custody. His death left many questions unanswered. Was he truly guilty, or had he been scapegoated? Had he acted alone, or was there someone else involved? The world may never know. To this day, the Vlado Taneski case remains one of Macedonia's most shocking and controversial true crime stories. It raises profound questions about the nature of evil and the thin line between observation and participation. Was Taneski a calculating killer who used his profession to hide his crimes? Or was he a man consumed by obsession, unable to separate fantasy from reality? Some believe Taneski was motivated by a desire for fame, crafting elaborate crimes to ensure his stories dominated the headlines. Others think he was driven by darker impulses, indulging in fantasies of power and control. Regardless of the truth, his story serves as a haunting reminder of how easily trust can be betrayed, and how fragile the boundaries between good and evil truly are. The case also highlights the ethical dilemmas faced by journalists. Should reporters prioritize sensationalism over sensitivity? How far should they go to uncover the truth? In Taneski's case, the pursuit of a gripping story may have led him down a path of destruction, not just for his victims, but for himself and his family. So, what do you think? Was Vlado Taneski a monster hiding in plain sight, using his job to justify his crimes? Or was he simply a man caught up in circumstances beyond his control? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your theories. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future episodes. Until next time, stay curious, but remember, some mysteries are better left unsolved.